Please take your seats, students. Class is now in session. Category is coins.
Raven Elise TV.
Hey guys, what's up? It's Raven, and in today's video, I basically just want to tell you guys my financial story, my financial history, a little bit about where I started when it comes to earning and saving money and where I am now. And hopefully along the way, you guys will pick up on some tips and techniques and habits that I personally use that really work for me to help me budget my money and save money. If you are brand new to my channel, then you may not know that I am 25 years old. I am a single mom, and I just purchased / built my first home. So I get a lot of questions about how I'm able to afford everything and how I was able to save up to buy this home. This is my dream home. I'm super excited about it. I still personally can't believe that I'm able to do this at this age, but it all goes back in my high school days, my college days, and when I first ever started earning money, when I first ever started saving money. It all goes back to a few tips, tricks, and habits that I started using way back then that kind of got me to where I am today. So before we can start talking about how I budget my money and how I save my money and all that stuff, we have to start with how I earn my money. You got to get money in the first place before you do anything with it. So let's go back to my high school days. I wasn't always a successful YouTuber like I am now. In high school and even before high school, I just was that type of kid who wanted to earn my own money, pay for some of my own stuff, save my own money. I wanted to have a savings account. I wanted to open up a bank account so I could have a debit card. I wanted to get a job. From a young age, before I was old enough to work retail or work real jobs, because I think you have to be what, like 16 at least to work most jobs like that. So before I was even 16, I was doing other jobs like babysitting around the neighborhood. I was a dishwasher. I worked for my mom who had her own business. I would just do odd jobs here and there. I was always eager and willing to do something extra to make some extra cash, like I said. And one of the main things that I like to do is to use my talents or my creativity to start up my own little businesses. Not really businesses, but like in middle school, I started this business where I made jewelry because I really like making stuff. So I made jewelry and I would sell it to my friends at school. So that is my advice to anybody out there who's really young, even if you're 12, 13, 14 years old and you're not old enough to get a real job yet, there always is something you can do to earn some extra cash. You just might have to get a little bit creative. Fast forward to college, I was a full-time college student, but I also worked retail. I worked at Wet Seal, I worked at Dillard's and BCBG. And it was at this point that I actually finally started making some money, a little bit of money from YouTube. I had started my YouTube channel way back in high school, but I was not earning any money from it when I first started YouTube. Back in my day, nobody was earning money from YouTube. That just wasn't even a thing. And then when it did become a possibility, it took me a long time to build up my channel and build up my following to even get to the point where I could even earn a little bit of money. And when I say a little bit of money, I mean like $50 here, $100 there, like barely earning enough money for them to even send me a paycheck because they had a $100 minimum for when they would send you a paycheck. So during college, I really was not earning that much from YouTube. My main income came from my regular retail jobs and from side hustles. I still had that hustler mentality of having my own little businesses and just doing odd jobs and just doing random stuff to earn some extra cash. So I opened up like little online stores where I would sell stuff that I got from thrift stores and revamped. It was called Custom Thrift. Some of you guys may remember that store. I just tried to use my talents or my creativity and turn it into a source of income. Of course, it was time consuming because even when you have just like a little online store, it can be very time consuming to run something like that and make all the products for it. But it was important to me to earn that extra money, so I just spent the time on it. At one point when it came to my housing costs, my groceries, my school supplies, my books, anything outside of just the main cost of tuition, I had to pay for it myself. So that's why I had jobs, that's why I had these little side hustles and started these little side businesses and was trying my best to grow my YouTube so I could start earning a significant amount off of that as well. So in 2015, I graduated from college, and that's also the same year that I became a full-time social media influencer, which is, you know, what I still do currently now, and it's really not just a job to me, it is a business. It is basically now a full-blown corporation that I run, and a lot of people don't really know what it means to be a social media influencer, and basically it just boils down to advertising. So the way that I earn my money is through Google AdSense. So you guys may see a commercial or an ad pop up in the beginning or the middle or the end of my video, and I get paid a percentage off of that ad. But I also earn money from brand deals, which is when I get sponsored by a brand. You guys may hear me say in the beginning of some of my videos, this video is sponsored by blah blah blah. That brand or that company is paying me to talk about their product in my video. Then I can also earn money from affiliate links, which is when I say use my special link down below to purchase this product that I'm recommending, because since I'm helping them promote their product and make that sale, they're giving me a percentage of that sale in exchange. I can also earn income from product sales. So if I'm selling my own product, like my own merch, or if I come out with my own makeup line or something like that, or even if I collaborate with another brand on a product. So you guys may have seen me work with different brands where it's like the Raven Elise eyeshadow palette, the Raven Elise lipstick. I can also earn income from event appearances and meet and greet type situations if there's something going on, like for example BeautyCon or something like that. And there's also multiple other ways that I can earn income by using my social media platforms. So it's multiple streams of income. It's not just one paycheck coming in once a month or anything like that. It's coming in from multiple different companies, different brands, different contracts, different things that I'm doing, and it varies from month to month. But I do kind of have like an average idea of what it's gonna be each month. And my goal is always to make the next month better than the last month. So I'm very thankful that I started to be able to do this full time. I was successful enough with it in 2015 to just do this exclusively, and I'm still able to do it. It's 2019 and I'm still going strong. But I had to learn a very hard lesson about never giving up, because like I said, it was a slow process. I started posting videos probably back in 2009 or something like that on my first ever like social media platform. I think I started posting videos like on MySpace and then Facebook and then Tumblr, and then I finally made it to YouTube. And then I was on YouTube for a long time before I made my second channel, which is the channel that you guys watch now. It took years for me to even earn a single dollar from YouTube, and then it took a long time after that for me to be earning enough dollars to call it an actual full-time job. And there was definitely times when I was like, this is pointless. I'm not gonna put any more effort into this because it's going nowhere. I'm not making enough money from it. I'm just wasting my time, blah, 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 blah. And I know that a lot of you guys can probably relate to that, whether it be with furthering your education, trying to get a job in the first place, trying to get a job promotion or get a better job, or maybe you have your own business or something like that and you're trying to get successful with it. And a lot of times you feel like it's just a waste and you just wanna give up, and life is unfair and there's all these things going against you. But take it from me, do not give up. You have to push through, you have to be motivated, you have to stay consistent, and you have to keep that goal in mind of wanting to become better and wanting to earn more income and wanting to provide for your family or provide for yourself or whatever it is. Do not give up. That is something that I had to learn because it took me a long time. I was not always the successful person that I am today. I know a lot of you guys may be watching this video thinking like, you know, I'm trying to learn how to save more money, but how am I ever gonna save money if I can't even earn enough money in the first place? And that's what I'm saying. Just don't give up, keep pushing, keep reaching for more. So, saving money. Back in the day when it came to saving money, I just always had a mentality of wanting to save money. That's just how I was. From the moment that I ever started earning money, I started saving money. So back in my college days, I was very cheap. I would get all my clothes from the thrift store. I would do my own nails, do my own hair, make my own wigs, try to make my own clip-in extensions, you know, just do everything kind of like the bootleg, jinky, ratchet, DIY way to save some money. I would skip out on certain things to save money, you know, not going out to eat, not going to this certain event where you have to buy tickets, not doing this, not doing that. And I believe I opened up my savings account back in high school, so I already had a savings account going that I was constantly putting money in. So every paycheck that I got, every sale that I made from my little side hustle, side businesses, everything like that, I would try to save as much as possible. Even if I was only putting $10 into my savings account at a time, every dollar counts. If I ever got extra money, like from like my paycheck was more than I expected or something like that, or if you were to get a raise, or if it was your birthday and you got money for your birthday, birthday or anything like that where you just get kind of like an unexpected extra amount of money, I would never just take that money and be like, ooh, I got some extra money, I'm gonna go to the mall and spend it. I would at least cut that money in half and put half of it directly into my savings account before I do anything else. And that's a habit that I got into early on. So every money that crossed my hands, I was at least putting like half of it into savings, every single dollar. If I find $1 on the floor, I'm putting 50 cents in my savings account. And I was very strict with myself about not pulling money out of my savings account unless it was a real emergency, unless I really needed it. Your savings account is meant to be a savings account. It's not meant to be a secondary checkings account where you just spend that money all the time anyway. So I think for me, starting those habits as a teenager just helped me to just get used to it. Also in college, I had to learn the concept of what it really means to be able to afford something. So I came up with my own definition and my own rule for myself, which is I cannot afford this unless I can afford to buy it twice. So if I have $500 in my bank account and there's something that I want to buy that is $450, I can't afford it. Just because I have barely enough money to be able to buy it doesn't mean that I can afford it, because at the end of the day, I'm running my account way too low and I'm cutting it too close, and I'm not leaving myself any leftovers that I might need for something else. Something else might pop up, an emergency or an unexpected expense, and now I only have $50 in my account. So I always wanted to leave myself a little bit of a bumper, a cushion, some wiggle room in my bank account. Now there was definitely some times where something just came up and I absolutely had to buy something, like I just really didn't have a choice. So I understand that there's like exceptions to the rule, but I'm more so just talking about like reckless spending or unnecessary spending. You know, going out to eat, getting your hair done, buying new shoes, just stuff like that. So like I said, when it comes to stuff like that, I would tell myself, you cannot afford to buy this unless you can buy it twice. If you do not have enough money in your bank account to buy this item twice, then don't buy it. And wait until you do have that much money in your bank account, then you can buy it. And that rule really helped to control my spending. Also in college is when I started making savings goals for myself. And I would literally write these goals down on a piece of paper and make like a poster that I would put on my wall so I could see it every day. So I would basically write down with markers, I would say by the end of this week, I want to have X amount of dollars saved up. By the end of this month, I want to have X amount of dollars saved up. By the end of this year, I want to have X amount of dollars in my savings account. And I would literally put it on my wall to where I would wake up and it would motivate me not only to earn the money in the first place, because you got to make the money before you can save the money. It would motivate me to like not skip work or not skip out on making YouTube videos, because at this point I was making a little bit of money from YouTube, and YouTube is very dependent on how consistent you are as a creator. The more work you put in, the more videos you post, the more money you're gonna make, obviously. So if you start getting lazy and start not posting and start not putting that much effort into it, your income is gonna start going down. So having these savings goals posters on my wall would motivate me to get up every day, even if I didn't feel like it, and record a video. And I would check in with myself. I would check at the end of the week, did I hit that goal or not? Okay, if I didn't hit the goal, what did I do wrong? What could I do better next week? Can I increase the amount of videos that I'm posting? Can I take on more hours at work? Can I do something else, like in terms of a side hustle, to bring in more money? So I actually found my old spreadsheet on my computer of my actual budget from that time frame. I believe this is actually from 2015, like right when I graduated college. So I wasn't earning that much from YouTube yet. I was earning just enough to be able to cover all my bills. You can see here how much everything was costing me, and I was only able to save about $300 a month, but I was constantly setting those savings goals and trying to increase that amount and trying to find ways that I could earn more money so that I could save more money. And then like I said, in 2015, when I actually graduated college and became a full-time YouTuber and was making a good amount of money from YouTube, that's when I really amped up my savings goals and I really increased those numbers. Something I forgot to mention is that when I first was graduating college and I was starting to do YouTube full time, I was only earning about $3,000 a month, like I just showed in that spreadsheet. But once I really started doing it full time after graduating and was really consistent with it, I was able to really increase my income. So that's why I also increased the amount that I wanted to save. So that's when I started using the 50-30-20 budgeting rule, and I actually made a video all about this back then, so you guys can go back and watch that video if you're interested in the 50-30-20 rule. But the basic idea of it is that you divide your monthly income into 50%, 30%, 20%, and 50% of your monthly income is budgeted out for your fixed expenses, meaning all of your monthly bills, all of those things that you know you're gonna have to pay every month. You already know how much it's gonna be. It's the same amount every month. That has to be covered by 50% of your income. And then 30% of your income is for food and spending money, basically. So your groceries, eating out, going to the movies, getting your nails done, getting your hair done, buying new clothes, any extra spending money that you might want to have is going to be in that 30% chunk. And then the last 20% chunk is set aside for debt and savings. So if you have any debt, you prioritize paying off your debt first, and then after that you can use the rest of that 20% for adding into your savings account. The only debt I had at the time was my college debt, so I actually included those payments into my regular fixed expenses because I just had a fixed amount that I knew I was going to pay that off every month. So I put that into the 50%. So therefore my 20% didn't really have anything to do with debt. It was all for savings. Every month I would take 20% of my income, put it straight in my savings account and not touch it. And then I could use that money for major expenses, like certain things that I knew I was saving up for, such as buying my car or going on a vacation and just treating myself, or just keeping that money in a savings account and not touching it and then just keep saving. But even though I was in a pretty good place in life, I was earning good money, I still held myself to this rule of living below my means. I was following that 50-30-20 budgeting system very strictly, which meant that all of my bills had to fit within 50% of my income. I didn't want to splurge in that area. I didn't want to go over my budgeting rule of 50-30-20. So yeah, technically I could have gotten the nice 2-bedroom loft in my apartment building at the time, but I knew that to go with my budget, I would need to level down a little bit and just get the 1-bedroom loft. I could technically get a really nice car and have an expensive car note, but I wanted to be able to save more money, so I bought myself a 2012 Ford Escape. And I did not go out and buy a bunch of designer shoes, designer bags, and just splurge and spend money on really expensive things all the time. I cannot stress this enough. I was very strict about keeping my living expenses within a certain amount and always making sure that I'm saving at least 20% of my income every single month. And especially when it comes to the investing side of savings, your money could be making more money for you. It's about actually being able to have extra money to put aside and invest into something that's gonna end up making you more money. And it's just gonna set you up real nice for your future. So the way I think about it is, you know, you always hear people talk about millionaires and billionaires, like people who have real money, they don't go around with flashy cars and flashy jewelry. You won't even know that they're a millionaire by looking at them because they're wearing plain clothes, they're driving a plain car. You just wouldn't even tell because they're not wasting their money on those materialistic items. They're investing their money. Their money is in places where you can't visually see it. And that's why they have so much money. So that's why for me, it was very important to pay attention to my living situation, like where I live and how much my rent was, and my car, and I would say also like just my food and eating out and stuff like that. Those 3 things, living situation, car, and food, are the 3 things that can really mess up your budget. I'm not saying never eat. I'm not saying never treat yourself. I'm not saying don't buy a car and just use a bike for everything. I'm not saying you have to take it to that extreme, but be honest and be real with yourself. Look at your budget. Based on the 50-30-20 rule, all of your bills should fit within 50% of your income. That's what you can technically afford according to that rule. So for those of you guys watching this video out there, do the math. How much of your income do you spend on your bills every month? Are you spending 80% of your monthly income just on bills and then still trying to fit in spending money after that, and then still trying to save money after that, and then you're wondering why you can't save any money? I totally understand having standards and wanting to make sure that you're living in a nice place, a decent, safe place, wanting to make sure that you're driving a nice, safe car. But especially with cars and stuff, a lot of cars are good and decent. That's why I drive a 2012 Ford. It's 2019 and I still drive a 2012 Ford because it works. It gets me from point A to point B. And especially during the time when I bought that car, when I was trying to be smart about my money, there was no reason for me to buy a brand new shiny car. But it's real easy to get caught up in brand names and labels and appearance and trying to keep up with your peers or feeling like you have to have a certain thing. And if you are really serious about wanting to save more money or be able to invest more money, you're gonna have to level down when it comes to those areas of your life. Making those sacrifices, not always getting the nicest, newest thing, not necessarily living exactly where you wanna live or driving the exact type of car that you wanna drive, that mentality is a huge reason. It's the biggest reason, it's the biggest advice I can give you guys. Living below your means, making sure that your bills are only 50% of your income, all that stuff. That is exactly how I'm able to buy my dream home at the age of 25 as a single mom on top of that. Because I've been living below my means, I've been humbling myself, leveling down, whatever you want to call it. I've been doing that ever since I was a teenager. And this is not me trying to brag, but I'm just trying to show you the reality of what can happen if you have good habits. Another important thing that I can tell you guys too though is credit cards. And my habits when it comes to credit cards is that, yes, it's important to have a credit card. You want to build your credit so you can have a credit score, so you can have credit to do certain things like rent an apartment, buy a house, all that stuff. So yes, you need a credit card and you want to use it, but I would never use my credit card to buy something that I couldn't actually afford to buy in cash. So I would use my credit card to buy things because obviously I want to get the benefits from it. I want to get the cash back points or whatever, and I want to build up my credit score and stuff, but I don't want to go into credit card debt. So I would always pay off my credit card balance immediately, like as soon as possible. Sometimes I would literally go in the next day and pay my credit card after buying something. I was not okay with just paying the minimum payment or having all this credit card debt starting to pile up, because that is a really bad habit that can really get you into trouble over time. Credit card companies are scammers. They're basically all scammers, especially when you're young. They specifically target college students and they try to get you to sign up for all these credit cards and get you to spend all this money and go into all this debt, and they tell you like, it's okay, just pay the minimum payment. There's no such thing as free money. It's a scam. It's gonna get you in trouble. It's gonna get you in debt. It's gonna get you to a point where you can't even save money because all your money has to go to paying off your credit card debt. So I just never wanted to get in that habit in the first place. So from the jump, when I first ever got a credit card, I only used it if I knew I could pay it off immediately. So I currently have zero credit card debt, and I have a very good credit score. And again, you guys may be thinking like, I can't do that. Like, I have to buy certain things with my credit card. I can't afford certain things. I have to do this. I have to do that. I have to go over this budget. I can't stick to that budgeting rule. I can't save that much money. I don't have that much money left over to save. But it boils down to making those sacrifices. Like I said, leveling down a little bit. Can you sacrifice something in your life to save that money? I know a lot of people can't. They truly cannot. They're truly in a situation where they've already sacrificed as much as they can sacrifice, and they still cannot afford to save any more money. They're in a position where they're living paycheck to paycheck and there's just nothing they can do. They're at their bare minimum already, and I totally understand that. But there's also a lot of cases where that's not true, and there are still areas that you can lower your spending. So you just have to be honest with yourself. I can't sit here and tell you, I don't know you, I don't know your life. You have to be honest with yourself and ask yourself, are there any areas in my life that I can really cut back on my spending? So all of that was kind of like all of my habits and stuff that I developed and everything that was going on for me. Nowadays it's 2019, so some time has passed. My situation has definitely changed. My business has definitely grown from, you know, where I first started to now being a full-blown corporation with employees and everything like that. I'm also a mom now, which has definitely changed my spending and my expenses. So I really don't do the 50-30-20 thing anymore. As of today, all of my monthly expenses fit within 30% of my income. So I live off of, well, me and Zaya live off of 30% of my monthly income. That includes all of my bills, that includes all of my spending money, all of my food, that includes everything for Zaya, her clothes, her daycare, her insurance, her everything. But an additional 25% of my income goes straight to Uncle Sam now. I am a business owner and I do have to pay taxes, and in the situation that I'm in, I gotta pay a lot of money for taxes. So 25% of my monthly income off top goes straight to Uncle Sam. Bye-bye. Then I have an additional 25% that I spend on business expenses because I am a business owner. It costs money to run this show. I have people that I pay. I have my mom, who is my manager, that I pay. I have a talent manager that I pay. I have a CPA that I pay for like accounting, that type of stuff. I have an editor now that I pay. I have to buy equipment, cameras, computers, lighting, all that stuff is expensive, and constantly upgrading that stuff. I also have to pay for software like Final Cut Pro, Photoshop, all that stuff costs money. All types of stuff that I spend money on. So a good 25% of my monthly income goes towards that. And then the remaining 20% of my monthly income, you guessed it, still goes into savings. So I do still stick to that 20% savings rule. Sometimes I try to make it more than 20% if possible, just depending on what's going on that month. So the main points of that 50-30-20 thing I was doing in 2015, they do still apply. At the end of the day, I'm still making sure that my expenses fit within a certain percentage. So it went from 50% now down to 30%, and I'm still making sure that I save at least 20% of my monthly income. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Those are all of my budgeting rules, spending habits, how I developed those habits and all that stuff. And that is basically how I was able to afford my dream home at the age of 25. Again, that's also how I was able to not struggle to provide for my daughter when I had Zaya. It's really not about like, oh, I became a famous YouTuber overnight and I make all this money so I don't have to worry about anything. It's not about that. It's about the habits that I developed early on, and the fact that I started saving early on, to where by the time that I gave birth to Zaya, I already had money saved up to where I didn't have to struggle to provide for her. Same thing goes for my house. I've been saving up for my house since before I was even successful on YouTube, and that's how I'm able to comfortably afford what I'm doing now. It's not about the money I'm making this month. It's about the money that I made years ago that I set aside with this in mind. And in order to do that, I think it's really important to have an actual plan, like the 50-30-20 plan or whatever it may be. Actually write it down, have something, you know, in writing planned out in advance that you know you're gonna stick to, and hold yourself to it, and go back and check and make sure that you're still sticking to it. Make sure that you're still reaching those goals. Make a poster for your room, like I said before, if you need to keep you motivated. And also, like I said, never give up. If you are in a difficult space right now, do not give up. You got to push through, because if you give up, it's guaranteed. It is guaranteed that you're always going to be in that crappy situation. But if you don't give up, if you at least keep trying, you at least keep the possibility open that something great could happen. And you always want to leave that possibility open, because you never know. Take it from me, you never know what could end up happening and how things could change for you in a positive way. So don't ever feel like you're stuck when it comes to your education, your job, your income. Always keep pushing, always keep trying, try something new, get creative with it. I am proof that if you just keep trying, good things might happen, and you might get to a really amazing point in life that you thought you would never be in. Again, this is not me trying to brag. This is just me trying to be real life proof and real life inspiration and motivation for you guys, to prove to you that it is possible. So yeah, enough preaching and ranting and rambling on. I hope this video made sense in the first place, because I feel like I was all over the place. I hope it was helpful, at least in some way, for you guys. And if you did find it helpful and you want me to do a part 2 to this video that actually goes into more detail, like a more advanced version of this video, talking more about investments and retirement funds, SEP IRA, taxes and stuff like that. If you want me to do a more detailed, advanced, like part 2 of this video, I will, but only if you guys are interested, because I'm not sure how interested you guys are in that stuff. So let me know in the comments down below if this video was helpful for you and if you would like to see a part 2. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye.